Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to bring you the preview of this Saturday's WBC heavyweight title fight between Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale. Also on that card, we have Gary Russell versus Kiko Martinez. We'll touch on that quickly and then get into the main event. Take it away, Rob.
Okay, so we're going to start with Gary Russell and Kiko Martinez. Just a kind of quick thing. Gary Russell, we know, 126 pounds. He's the champion. Very fast, very athletic. One loss to Mr. Vasily Lomachenko, taking on a very tough and experienced Kiko Martinez, who's pretty much earned his way up. And let's be honest, Gary Russell needed an opponent. He's notorious for only fighting maybe once a year, maybe twice, depending on promoters and all the other good stuff. And this is and getting his brothers on the cards and everything. So he had to fight somebody.
Right. So I expect him to, look good, but take some leather, because for as fast as his hands is, head doesn't go anywhere. So Martinez, being a veteran, he'll probably be able to see some of those opportunities, land some shots. We'll see, Russell has a chin, but he should be able to come out with a victory. Whether he gets the stoppage or not remains to be seen.
I'm looking at a stoppage within 6.
Okay. Rob is going for a stoppage within 6. With the power that he has and the combinations that he throws, I can see that happening. So that's that for the co-main or the feature bout. So going into the main event, we got two heavyweights who have some bad blood, both former Olympians. Wilder being a bronze medalist in 2008 and Breazeale being on the 2012 team. Apparently they had some kind of altercation a few years ago and have never actually gotten along since.
Let's be honest, I try not to get into the gossip stuff, but it involved Deontay Wilder, Dominic Breazeale, somebody's daughter, and Deontay Wilder's younger brother, who apparently causes a lot of problems for Mr. Wilder anyway.
So, yeah, there's that. So let's talk about the important stuff, them fighting in the ring. Now, Rob let me know that Breazeale is now being trained by Virgil Hunter, which can be a good thing. But as I told him in the text message, I doubt it's going to help. Why is that? There's a lot of things that Breazeale does that, while Deontay Wilder, we all know what we get with him, we also know, like I said, what we get with him. So, with Breazeale, he is powerful. He can carry his power late into fights. Problem is, same thing with Gary Russell. Doesn't move his head. Hold on a second. Had to take a quick break there. So, head movement and the lack thereof from Dominic Breazeale. That, coupled on top of, he doesn't really have snap on his punches. He does more so of a pushing motion, especially with his jab, where it doesn't come out and back quickly like you would expect a pro level boxer to do. It's more of a push, like what Rob is doing. And also he steps really heavy on that front foot when he does it too. So with someone like Wilder, who's very explosive and also has hella power, spells bad news for Breazeale. But good news for Breazeale, he hits really hard. So if he could probably crash Wilder, because he also, even though he has those flaws, he can actually close distance really well. If he needs to get into range to throw his punches, which isn't a lot because he's a really big guy, he can get there. As we saw versus Joshua, he was able to get a lot of punches off. He was just in there with someone technically better. In this fight, he's still in there with someone technically better, which with Wilder, that's kind of crazy to say because we know he's pretty raw. But Breazeale can cause some issues, like Luis Ortiz did, like Gerald Washington. Some of the guys that, can kind of get in Wilder's face and throw some combinations. So he may be able to score some points and maybe even hurt Wilder. So we'll see how that shakes out. What you got?
You said it. He is a powerful guy. He's an ex-football player, ex-quarterback, very big quarterback. The thing
may explain the footwork.
The footwork. He throws a lot of push punches, arm punches. He doesn't really have that turn on his right hand. He doesn't have the snap on the punches, but he will bludgeon you. And when he gets in, he's not afraid to throw, albeit not the most accurate punches, but he's not afraid to throw 2 or 3 punches at a time once he gets in. Another thing is he's a guy that bends and doesn't break. In the fight with Amir Mansour, in the fight with Izu Aguno, I think he has some very tough fights versus Fred Cassie, Eric Molina, and of course Anthony Joshua. With Anthony Joshua, he literally had to be knocked down 2 or 3 times over the course of 7 rounds in order to be put down. Everyone else has been able to knock him down and really put him down hard. If you watch the Aguno fight, and he got back up and was able to basically bludgeon him into submission. He did that versus Negron. He did that versus Aguno, Molina. And what he does, like you say, he closes distance. He also is not afraid to walk you down, and it's very deliberate steps. He kind of inches forward on you. If he had more snap on his jab, it would be so much more different. Also, it's not just his head movement. Negron was able to get some very good left hooks to the body in there, especially under his jab. And he could definitely be countered with the jab, and we know Wilder has a very underrated jab. He has a very long jab. His issue is, while he has power, he has some very underrated skills outside of his right hand, because he is a very good, to me, infighter, except, of course, against Tyson Fury, who is a consummate boxer, and he has a decent hook, underrated jab, very underrated uppercut, especially on the inside. He clowns and he loses form, where if he thinks he has a knockout, instead of throwing those crisp, calculated, accurate punches, he likes to swing for the fences. And against
all technique goes out the window at that point.
And a guy like Breazeale, who will probably take those shots and keep coming, like Anthony Joshua had to really work for that knockout.
Yeah. But then at the same time, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are 2 different types of punchers.
Exactly. Joshua is a much more accurate puncher.
Mm-hmm.
And he can place his shots, and he has more variety on the shots, where a guy like Deontay Wilder, I think people are starting to kind of catch on with that right hand. It's just when you get tapped with it, it's a different story.
And that's one of the things. That's like, he's getting hit by guys that kind of hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
But Wilder's a kind of guy, like his punches come at a different type of force and velocity and impact than the Joshua's and the Amir Mansour's, the guys that hurt him but weren't able to finish him. I mean, the only guy that really got up from a Deontay Wilder onslaught was Tyson Fury, and he doesn't even know how he got up.
Right.
So I'll get into my prediction after you finish your point, but I just wanted to throw that part out there too, that they are 2 different types of punchers. But yes, Joshua did get him out of there, and yes, he did have to work for it.
And with these 2 guys, you have 2 guys that start slow. Neither one of them start fast. They're not going to come right. Like, Breazeale may start faster just because he's going to come forward, and he may make Deontay Wilder work early, but we know Deontay around the 4th or 5th round is when he really warms up and gets going. Those punches become more accurate. The timing changes. They're not as wild. He's not just swinging them. They just get a little bit closer. Look at the Gerald Washington fight. They just kind of got a little bit closer as the fight wore on, while Gerald Washington was kind of putting rounds in the bank early.
Yeah.
So it could look like that, or Wilder, being that is bad blood, they've talked a lot of shit up to each other at this point, he may be more motivated to get him out of there. And of course, if you hear the the talk that has been coming out of his mouth, which is, I don't know why he keeps saying he can kill a man in the ring, because this is not the first time he said this shit.
Yeah, now that's why I don't know why they make it such a big deal. I was like, this is not the first time he said it. Well, I guess now that he's a bigger public figure,
right? But he's starting this. It's one thing to say it on the Breakfast Club. I don't know if you watch the Breakfast or listen to the Breakfast Club. Probably you New York people. It's almost like now you're saying it on ESPN. Now you're saying it on CBS and Showtime.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't say I'm going to kill. Like Mike Tyson said he was going to eat someone's kids.
Yeah.
But he might have been high. That's something different. Deontay Wilder has been saying it, and he's been saying it, and it's kind of like you're kind of screwing up the sport for us. You kind of chill out.
I don't even think it's really hurting the sport. It's just like, stop being so damn sensitive. Like,
it's 2019. Anything you say is going to be taken a certain way.
Good point. But yeah, so I mean he does have a point. It could happen.
Yeah.
But that's not something you want to actively wish on somebody.
It's not saying it could happen. It's saying I'm going to do it. I might as well since we're there, and that's completely different.
Yeah. No, no, we don't want to do that. That's, we aren't in there fighting to the death. This is just a competition to say I'm better than you, and I want to prove that I'm better than you by knocking the complete crap out of you. But I'm not trying to actually kill you. Like, I know you got a family to go to. I got a family to go to. I'm not trying to, like, win or lose, the bell rings for round one. We still go both get our checks. So let me just knock you out, and you go home and be with your family. But
a little bad blood never hurt the promotion of a sport.
Yeah, but I don't need to go out there and end your life in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, like if we get through round 3 or 4, Breazeale takes a knee and he hits him twice while he's down, then then it's going to become a problem. So
going into my pick, like Rob said, we don't know how it's going to start, but I do believe that this fight will end before the 6th round. And I think that Wilder will be able to end this fight because of the things that I said. And a lot of people, they like to infer certain things. Just because Deontay Wilder knocks him out before Anthony Joshua does, that's if he does. It doesn't make him better than Anthony Joshua. That's why I made the point earlier about them being two different types of punchers. We know that Joshua, just on the eyeball test, seeing them both, is the more technically polished guy. I mean, he's a gold medalist in the Olympics. We see his technique is there. He just doesn't hit with the concussive force that Deontay Wilder does. Deontay Wilder has nowhere near the technical prowess of Anthony Joshua, but he puts heads to bed. So he's going to do that to Breazeale. And he's probably going to do it earlier than Anthony Joshua did. Now, they're going to use that to promote the fight between the two. Go right ahead. But until those two guys fight in the ring, we don't know who's actually better. So that's why I made that point. I'm taking Wilder within 6 rounds via knockout.
Okay, so I have 2. He's either going to get him out of there in 3. I'm putting 3 or 4. One of those 2. 3 or 4 early before 6. Just because I know there's bad blood, he could be motivated to get started to beat Joshua in the time that he knocks him out. Or, as we see with Breazeale, he can make it interesting and make it much more difficult for Wilder to knock him out. Because we do know, like, it took Joshua some time. It took a lot of guys who are great punchers some time to even knock him down. Or it's going to be a Wilder knockout late. Because at this point, he's just breaking him down. And if Wilder, he has been kind of known to retreat a little bit. So if he can't, he might just bank the rounds as much as he can and catch Breazeale coming in, because we know he is there to be hit.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, he's going to be there to be hit. He is going to make him work for it, but he's going to pay for it.
Right.
And I think he's going to pay for it a lot earlier than intended. Well, I don't know how to read Vegas odds that great, but Wilder's a huge favorite, and I think under 6 is that like big time betting line going on right now, and with good reason. Like I said, Deontay Wilder hits people and things change. No matter how ugly his technique gets at times, it is effective.
Lastly, and this is just because, if I'm Breazeale, because I know he's not the most polished guy in the world, I know that I have about a 30 to 40 pound weight advantage and a strength advantage because Breazeale is a very physically strong individual.
Yes.
I mean, Wilder is too. If you've seen the pictures, he's gotten a little bit bigger since his last fight to kind of deal with Breazeale. If I'm Breazeale, I get on the inside and I rough him up. I might even throw him to the ground once or twice. Just cause. Just throw a hip toss in there just to show him, forget that. This is a fight now.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, he needs to just bum rush the show, crowd the space, get in there, and just lay in leather. Because eventually, Deontay Wilder's going to time him. He's going to hurt him. He's going to finish him. And up until that point, Breazeale needs to lay as much damage on him as possible and possibly get lucky. Maybe even stun him a bit. But we've seen Wilder stunned. I think he was dropped very early in his career, like super duper early. But we've seen him hurt. But unless you have that concussive, take you out power, Wilder's will not be denied. He just has this belief in himself that he just knows that he's going to hit you eventually. And we saw that versus Tyson Fury, where he's getting outboxed, but he was like, I don't care. I'm going to hit you on the chin, and you are going to fall. And it happened twice. First one, nice knockdown. The second one, like we said, Tyson Fury himself don't know how he got up from that.
Exactly.
So that's it, guys. Let us know what you think. Hit us up in the comment section below. We can even, do some guesswork on him and Joshua, because hopefully it's eventually going to happen. Him and Fury again as well. But we got 3 guys at the top who need to fight each other a couple times to really determine who's the best heavyweight in the world. So we got an exciting time in the heavyweight division once again. The mainstream networks are starting to get behind it again. So it's a great time to be a heavyweight boxing fan. Hit us up in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can get our notifications. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of it Capital Combat. Hit us up, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, fight on.
This is round 1, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick ground, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.